I'm Cheri Rockafella, songwriter, rock star.
I trace the shadow of your face on the pillow in the morning as the sun is shining through the window panes. I wear the smile that you gave me when you told me that you loved me as the moon reflected off the ocean waves. It made me smile.
I spent most of my life as an actor and a writer, and then I was a professional clown. And I had the biggest clown company, one of the biggest in the United States, believe that or not, all Houston clowns. So I was a clown for many years, and now I'm a rock and roll clown. How many songs have I written? Okay, well, in the past 4 years, I have been writing a song every single day, and I put it into memos, sing it to myself, send it to my producer. And then if he found a song he liked, he kept, and we produced one album, right? But then I worked on a second album, which isn't ready to be produced. I got all the songs written, and they're even better than this album, in my opinion. I love the second record a lot, but it's not a record yet. But in my life, I can't really count because I literally try to write a song every single day. Wow. You know, I didn't write for many years. I was a singer, and then, you know, in the 80s, I was in a band with, it was a big group. There were 2 girls, 5 guys. One was the keyboard player for Stevie Ray Vaughan. He wrote Cold Shot. So we traveled around. We had a lot of fun. But they didn't want me to, they just wanted me to sing backup. Like everybody tell me back up. I was like, well, what should me back up? So I said, I'm going to write my own song, started my own duo. And, you know, that relationship split up. I was in New York for a while. I was in Greenwich Village. So after that, I was sick of musicians. I decided I was picking all the wrong guys, right? And I married a carpenter. That was a terrible idea. I mean, that was a bad idea. But I had 3 great, beautiful children. I had married, had 5 kids all together and didn't write any songs. I became a clown, right? And I had my clown business, and I'm a world champion clown. I'm literally a mime, even though I speak 90 miles an hour. That was how I won most of my trophies, is not speaking. Because they said that, you know, ever since I was a little kid, I've been singing on the playground. I was head cheerleader. I make up dances. But since I can remember, my favorite show was Soul Train. So I lived way out in the country, and we lived where, you know, there used to only be 3 television stations. That was it. And I would, every Saturday, my mom would push the furniture back, and we would dance, because my mom was 16 when she got pregnant. My sister came a year after me. So my mom was so young, she taught me all the dances, and we learned every dance that came along in the 70s. And I don't know, I guess I was started singing into my toothbrush, and then I went to the hairbrush, and now I have a real microphone. Oh, I would say Tina Turner. It's probably, I call myself Valentina Turner. You know, like I said, that carpenter, he was mean. You know, I had a really mean, bad husband. I've been through some really, really traumatic stuff. Like, I mean, my ex-husband is bad, and he's on the run right now. He got out of prison after 22 years, and see, my son didn't help parole him out, and I believe he murdered him. And that is what made my heart crush 5 years ago. My son died in the shower at college, and no one proved how he died. And I know that those letters in his backpack from my ex-husband in prison asking him to get out, and he says, what's going to happen if you keep getting straight A's? And then he didn't get him out, and he dropped dead. This doesn't sound like a happy rock and roll story, but as a mom, I fought hard to find out what happened to my son, and nobody else cared, right? And so I did keep him in for 3 more years on suspicion, but then he got out anyway. And he's skipped parole. I couldn't release my album. My producer dropped me, my coach, everybody was afraid that I was going to get killed. They didn't want to be around me, right? So since I've been in COVID, he has already gone through 2 other women. This is no lie. And he is as a blue warrant. He's on the run. But my son was a skater and a partier and a ladies' man. And I knew he didn't want a sad album. I knew I had to do something fun, like Fun Box. So originally I had written other songs, and I sold my clown company, took that money and invested on getting them recorded at a studio. And no one in my family believed I was a singer. No one was on my side except for me. I believed in it. The music, I was so depressed. I'd laid in my bed, after no one would believe me that my son, how he got murdered, and no one would help me for a year. Nothing could get me out of bed. But music started coming to me. And because I had been a songwriter and a singer before, I had been on Austin City Limits, I was doing really good. Jeff and Cheri, before we went to New York. And then I knew these were good songs. I was like, these are real songs. I've got to get up and start writing them down. So I sold my business, recorded 4 songs, went to visit my daughter in California. And while I was gone, while I was out of Texas, the huge hurricane came. And I finally met a real record producer at the Starbucks in Brentwood. And he told me, I know you're a singer. I can tell by your voice. I said, no, I'm not. I'm a clown. He goes, no, you're a singer. You've got that raspy blues voice. I know you're a singer. I said, well, I am a songwriter. He goes, well, send me 20 songs. He goes, don't just send me one. If you're going to send me 20 songs, send me 20. I go, I'll bet you right now I can write a song every single day. Every day. I'll send you a song every day. And he walked out the door, and I met him for 15 minutes, and I didn't know if he was telling me the truth or he was just some Hollywood guy that takes pictures of himself with celebrities. I didn't really believe him at first. So I went out in the alley, and I called my friend that I know is legit, rock and roll photographer, knows everyone. And I'm like, is this guy for real? He goes, he's for real, Cheri. He's like, send him all of your songs. I said, all? And he's like, all. I go, well, he told me, don't send me any of that blues shit. We need rock songs for women. And so I only had 4 songs recorded. And I'm going, oh my God. And my daughter and I were jumping up and down. We're going, Ozzy and Aerosmith? Is this the shit? He does Scorpions? Oh man, this is real. So I called in Houston, and I'm like, I got a real record producer who wants to hear my songs. And they said, Cheri, we can't do anything right now because the storm's coming. And we got to batten down the hatches. And sure enough, the storm was coming. And I didn't have anything to send. I had nothing to tell to send the guy. I didn't have any rock and roll songs recorded anyway. They were mainly pop songs, right? So I got up on the roof of my daughter's building in Hollywood, and you could see the Hollywood sign and the palm trees. And it was right before sunset. I said, we got to do something. I told him today, and I'm a woman of my word. If you're late in this business, even a day late, that's too late, right? I said today, I got to do it today before the sun goes down. So we got up on the roof, and I just sang a cappella, and she filmed me. And I had this one rock and roll song that it just goes, better fall down before your maker, before you meet the undertaker. Do it now in this crucial hour. And the next day he said, these are entertaining. He was like, I've never seen anything like this shit. Send me more. He goes just keep sending them. I'm going to New York. So I never saw him in person again. But every day I would write a song or make videos or work on my music. And on Sundays, I would take a day off, or I would write a hymn, right? I'd write a gospel song. Because really, it was impossible for me not to write the blues. I'm from Texas. Blues is where I come from. Charlie Watts, the drummer of Rolling Stones. Yeah. I've seen the Rolling Stones 4 times. And on this tour, the No Filter tour, I saw him in Houston. I came to California, I saw him in Pasadena. And I just saw him at the SoFi Stadium in LA. But it didn't have Charlie Watts. So that was kind of sad, and you could really tell he was missing. The Rolling Stones, huge influence in my life, and you can't say they don't sing the blues, right? Because they started out by doing covers of old classic, just legendary classic blues songs that were lost on America, and then all of a sudden, everybody started wanting to know who's Muddy Waters, who's B.B. King. I actually had the privilege of getting to sit front row right in front of B.B. King. I was 22, and I knew every single word to every song, and he couldn't believe that there's this 22-year-old girl right in front of him singing her heart out, knowing every word. So he sang right to me like I had a solo concert. He just sat there playing Lucille. His sweat was getting on me like, oh my God. I was like, let it rain.